Alright guys, before this video starts, I wanted to give a big shout out to my recent Ko-fi supporters. So thank you so much to Shaking Bird, Jeffrey Simpson, Brian, Amber, Kelly, Mark J, and Denise. Thank you guys so much for buying me a coffee and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it, and it really helps out. So thank you guys so much again, and without further ado, let's get in to this video. Alright, what is up guys? It is Noah here, and right now I am walking through this forest to a house that some of you might know as the abandoned Mossport house. It's a house that's pretty deep into the forest by a pretty well-known racetrack in Ontario. This house has been sitting here for like, I don't know, it's like 20 plus years at least. Super dangerous inside, super decayed. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting one. It's been a while since I've been out, so we're gonna see if we can find it. Hopefully it's still here, and hopefully I don't get in trouble. But yeah, let's go and see if we can check out this house. It's a super lush forest that we're going through though. It's crazy that somebody's house would be this far back into the forest. So I have been here before, a long time ago in the winter, and the house was bad then. So I can only imagine that the house is terrible now. It's probably like a kilometer walk in. So on days when the track's open and it's not COVID, you can hear the some of the race cars actually driving in the distance, which is pretty cool in my opinion, at least. So guys, this house is super heavily decayed. This is like probably I'd say more than 20 years of decay, this one house. There's an old Toyota we're gonna start with though, which is super cool. The Toyota is awesome. I'm surprised that nobody ever saved this. Like, it just sat here forever. It's a Tercel. Somebody probably could get this fired up and working again too. You know, it's good old Toyota quality. Like, it's been sitting through like years and years of this hood being open. Like, nothing's rusting. I'm amazed that this car is even still here. It's just buried in the back. And it's interesting too because, you know, it's right by a racetrack. So this car probably at one point actually drove on the track that's near it. I think on my first visit here, the windshield was still intact, but that could have been just snow and stuff like that. The weight of it crushed it. I'm not sure though. Just your good old automatic. Holy, it has 700. Is that right? No, okay. Thought it had 700,000 K. It has 79,445 kilometers. Interior shot. Bet you there's somebody out there that could restore this though. Big honking dent in the top though. Just pop it back out. I always liked finding old cars, guys. It's even cooler to me. It's local to the area. It was bought in Whippy. Good old Tricell badge. Super cool. It's so like apocalyptic, just sitting here in the bush. It's crazy. Focusing a lot on the car because I know that the house is severely trashed and dangerous. So I want to give you guys a good video. But the car is still super interesting. Seeing as we found this car here, what was your first car that you guys had? Mine was a 2002 Volkswagen Golf. It was blue. So yeah, tell me in the comments below, what was your first car? Love to know. This is probably one of the most severely damaged homes you will ever see on this channel. And this is for very good reasoning. Almost 99% of this house, we are probably not going to be able to go into. I could dare to walk across these, but what's the point? The point of my Forgotten Home Ontario series was to show all kinds of houses when it first was started, and I kind of lost the way of that when I started doing like mansions and like time capsules and stuff. I wanted to show every kind of house, and this is a good example of a lot of the abandoned houses in Ontario that have been sitting for so long that they end up like this. And, you know, nobody cares about them, and they just sit here rotting away until they completely fall in, and it's nuts. Like, we'll definitely be able to go into the basement, but, like, anywhere else in the house, it's probably not going to happen. Like, if you look close enough, the bottom of those 2x4s, they're swinging. Is that not gnarly? Even up at the ceiling here, there's just nothing. It's just completely open. I think this would have been a very nice house back in the day, personally, but I've never once been able to get inside of this house other than the basement. So, we'll continue walking around the house. Show some drone footage too. But like even just the outside, just the siding and like the overhang on the roof is completely falling out. Or falling down. Funny enough though, that one window is perfect still. So, you know, still love that. Toyota sitting, literally post-apocalyptic. I'd love to have that car. I think we're gonna go that way. Guess we gotta go this way. Now look at this. Wow. Like natural decay at its finest. It's literally just reduced to the studs. Like they must have renovated it and gutted it at one point because there'd be more debris. But I know this house was definitely lived in at one point. So it's interesting to see what happened to it over time. And like even the glass over there is still good. The house itself isn't anything particularly special. It's just a standard, pretty much a rectangle house. Old tractor over here. I've actually never noticed that. First time I came here, I didn't see it. Just a little buried. You can see a whole tree fell on top of this tractor. But she's in there. She'd probably fire right up. Oh yeah, this has gotten so much worse. Look at that, guys. Wow. That is insane. Don't even know if I'll go in here. Might be the first episode of Forgotten Home Ontario that we don't actually go inside of a house. Because, like, just look at this. Like, this tree is holding up probably a majority of the weight of some of this house. I mean, I know there's still, like, the iron beams. That thing's working overtime. You can tell that it had a beautiful porch up there with nice big windows, same as the bottom here, but the actual roof has shattered the windows up there. So I do know we can get into this part. And just try to imagine this home back when it was lived in. Imagine how magnificent this fireplace would have been. I still believe that at some point this house was, went through and salvaged a lot of the things. But this fireplace is probably one of the nicest I've seen in an abandoned home ever. It's huge. It's just so interesting because it's like, it's its own pit. You actually have to walk into it. I like the little green in it too every so often. Now we won't be going up to the next floor, obviously. As you can see, the holes. But this is the kind of house that to me is a very interesting scenario. So this is what it would look like upstairs with big, basically bay windows. But you would have been able to see over the forest there. This house probably owned quite a large bit of property. Sounds like there's a wasp nest. This is probably one of the most solid things in the house is this staircase because it's made out of steel. But just the idea of going up there is not great. Like how solid. Like that could be structural at this point and, you know. You can see. But yeah. Oh yeah, these are just toast. Crazy. You can just see the level of rot in this wood, in those pieces of wood even right here. Like a house doesn't just get like that out of nowhere. Like this happens over years and years of time. One thing that might be hard to see is that this fireplace actually continues all the way up. And you can see it on the upper floor. I don't know if it'll focus, but you can see that the brickwork continues all the way up. And that is very interesting. It's basically an entire wall of a fireplace. I know it cuts off right here, but it gives that illusion when you can see it on both areas. I know they're two different bricks, two different styles of fireplaces, but it looks like it's just one full wall, which is kind of cool. Now guys, I know this isn't the craziest abandoned house ever, and some of you may not think that this is even worthy of being in the Forgotten Home Ontario series, but like I said at the starting, this series was always intended to show every kind of house in Ontario, and you know, visiting the same kind of packed full houses that, you know, may or may not fully be abandoned, and people get upset about who goes where and people do what. These kind of houses, these are clearly abandoned. Nobody's caring about them, and nobody's showing them. And you know what? I think they're kind of interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, let me know down below. I know it's been a while since I've posted. Just an update on the health. Still working with doctors to figure out my headaches. I want some new meds, but it's still not working quite right. I got my vaccine. Actually all my family has gotten their first dose of the vaccine, so that's a bonus. And then hopefully we're going to be doing some new stuff and exploring more of Ontario, not just abandoned stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping 2021 isn't a complete loss, but yeah, thank you to everybody that stuck around on the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, let me know down below. Let me know what your first car was, because I like cars. Maybe do some new car stuff. Sold my car, so I'm looking for a new car. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you'd like to, you can help support the channel out further by donating me a coffee down below. It's not necessary, and it's not expected or anything, but it is one extra way of helping to support the channel, especially through times like this. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon in the next Explorer.